So let's start in grammar on page 85. Page 85. 85. We're going to talk about imposter ly adverbs. And have you ever heard that word before, imposter? You guys ever heard that? Okay, good. So it means, just in case you forget, it means when you're talking about a person, it's like a person trying to be somebody else. Like if you ever go to Hollywood or you go to Las Vegas, and there's usually a character or a person dressed up like Jack Sparrow, and he's trying to be Jack Sparrow, but he's not the real Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? He's an imposter. He's just acting like him and looks like him. That's true for writing. We have words that look like they could be an adverb because they have ly at the end, but they're not adverbs, they're actually adjectives. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So you have to pay attention to that because they're going to try to trick you in this book. You're going to see ly words and you might think they're adverbs, but they might not be. They might be imposters. Okay, so it says an imposter ly adverb is a word that looks like an ly adverb because it ends in ly, but it is actually an adjective. If the ly word modifies a verb, adjective, or adverb, it will tell when, where, why, how, to what extent. That means it is an adverb. If it will tell when, where, why, how, and to what extent, it's an adverb. By the way, to what extent means like extremely or barely. It's saying like if it's extremely hot outside, that means it's really, really, really hot, right? Or if it's extremely cold or extremely windy, we have had some winds lately. If it's extremely windy, that means it's really, really, really windy. But that's an adjective describing the wind. It's telling to what extent, like how much. That's what extent means, how much. So watch out for those words because they're going to actually be an adjective. So you're going to look for ly adverbs here in the book. And here's the practice sentence. It says, the soldier thoughtfully shared his meal. So the verb here is shared. That's an action. So when you have an ly word right before the verb like that, it's going to be an adverb. It's telling how he shared. He thoughtfully shared. Okay. So watch where that ly word is in the sentence. If it's helping a noun, that means it's an adjective. But if it's helping a verb, an action, that's an adverb. The easy way to remember it is adverb. You hear the word verb in that word, right? Adverb. So think of it as being next to a verb. That's an adverb. If it's not next to a verb, it's an adjective, okay? So if the ly word describes a noun or a pronoun, it will tell which one or what kind, and that is the adjective. So you're going to mark those with ADJ. So look at this example right here. It says, the friendly soldier shared his meal. Notice it's talking about the soldier. He's friendly. What kind of soldier is it? He's a friendly soldier. But soldier, we know, is a person, right? A soldier is a person in the army or some kind of military. Okay, that's a soldier. It's a person. So that means that's a noun. Remember, nouns are person, place, or thing. So friendly is telling about the noun. That's why that becomes an adjective, even though it has an ly. That's what they're going to try to trick you with in this book. So watch out for that. Okay. Look at the bottom of the page right here on page 85. There's a whole list of imposters. These are all adjectives. I'm just going to read them through real quick. You're going to see that they have ly, but they're not adverbs. These are adjectives. Chili, not chili, the kind that you eat, but chili as in it's cold, right? That kind of chili. So chilly, friendly, ghastly, ghostly, holy, kingly, knightly, lonely, lovely, lowly, orderly, prickly, queenly, ugly, worldly, wrinkly. Even though they all have ly, these are telling about a noun. Like if you want to look at the word wrinkly, you might think of an old person, a wrinkly man. He's an old man, right? He's an old, wrinkly man. That means it's describing the man. He has wrinkles in his face or in his skin. Okay. Or if you're talking about a cactus, it's prickly. A cactus is prickly. Well, a cactus is a thing, right? So that means it's a noun. So prickly cactus is describing the noun. That's what makes it an adjective. Okay, so these are just some, not all of them, but just some of those imposters. So watch out for that. Let's turn the page. We're going to do the practice sentence now. Does anybody feel like reading that today? You want to read it, Noah?
Sure.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The king was weary. He called his daughter and told her that she must immediately return the stolen treasures.
Good. That vocabulary word is weary. And that just means like really tired or you don't have any energy. You just want to stay in bed or laze around. I had a couple moments like that during the vacation. I just was weary. I was just tired. So that's the vocabulary word. Go ahead and check vocabulary. And then let me lighten this up a little bit. Got a little dark. There we go. There's two articles, so you can do those by yourself. You guys are good at those. And then Olivia, help us find those three nouns.
King,
Good,
daughter,
good,
treasures.
good. Something I want to tell you really quick before I forget, when you guys sit down to do your homework for grammar, the first thing I want you to do is read the sentence out loud because I don't want you to just open up your grammar and start going down the list. Okay. So try to remember that when you start your grammar homework, you have to read the sentence because that's going to help you understand what the sentence is about. And then that'll help you find the words. It's a little trick. So make sure you read, even if nobody's in the room and you're by yourself in your bedroom working on your homework, just read it out loud to yourself. Just read it, or you could whisper it. Okay. But make sure you do that before you start your list. Okay. So back to Noah. What about pronouns? There's three of them here.
His,
Not his. Now, sometimes his is, but this one is telling whose daughter it is. So his is actually going to be an adjective here because it's telling whose. So not his. Try another one.
he,
He. Good.
her,
Good.
she.
Good. Yeah, his is one of those tricky ones. That's why it's good to read the sentence first because you might accidentally mark that as a pronoun. But it's telling his daughter. It's telling whose daughter it is. Okay. Check. ly adverb, Olivia. See it there? It's got ly at the end.
Immediately.
There you go. And sometimes those are imposters, but in this sentence, it actually is an ly adverb. So that's right. And then Noah, what about the coordinating conjunction?
Oh, I remember.
Do you see it?
And
Yes. Remember what the coordinating conjunctions are fanboys. Do you guys remember what those are? What words those are? Can you say them, Noah?
no, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Do you remember, Olivia, the fanboys? Okay, so right here, let's do it. Actually, let's do it here underneath, just for a note. Go ahead and put these all in caps here, and we'll write this down. It'll help you remember. Fanboys, try to write that down, and then we're going to put the word next to each one. So F is for, do you remember what A is, Noah? Well, you just found it in this sentence here.
And
Yes, and see how I'm just adding the rest of the letters here? So we have for, and N is nor. We don't use that one very often, but that's what it is, nor. What about B, Olivia? Do you remember what B is? No? It's but. One T, not two T's. That's a different but. Only one T. O, you remember that one, Noah? No? Or, Y is yet. S is so. I'm going to let you guys copy that down. By the way, this would be cool if you copied it down on another piece of paper and taped it on your wall. That way, when you're doing your grammar, you can go, okay, wait, what are these? These are the coordinating conjunctions. CC. I'm going to put equals CC really big like that. Coordinating conjunctions right there. For and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So, Olivia, can you unmute and read those words?
or and nor but or yet so.
Good. Read them again.
For and nor but or yet so.
Good. One more time.
For and nor but or yet so.
Good. And those are the coordinating conjunctions. So I want you guys to memorize those because it'll make your homework a lot easier if you know what those words are. Noah, I'm going to let you keep writing, and then when you're done, I'll have you read them too, okay? So we got Noah got coordinating conjunction, and now we're to the that clause. Did you get it, Noah? You're done? Okay, so go ahead and read the words to me.
Hence,
These words right here that you just wrote down.
for and nor but or yet so.
Again,
For and nor but or yet so.
one more time.
For and nor but or yet so.
Good. You guys will memorize it. The more you say those over and over again, it'll get easier. So each one of those letters in fanboys represents one of those words. Okay, Olivia, where's the that clause? You're muted.
It's right after her.
Okay, there's that, but how do I know where it ends?
And
That what?
the end of the sentence. Oh.
After treasures. So that she must immediately return the stolen treasures. Yes. The reason is because you need to have your subject verb pair in there, and we'll find that next. So what about verbs, Noah? Where are the verbs at? Those are going to be the action words, or sometimes they're a helping or linking word. Told is one. What else? Olivia, go ahead and mute for a second, okay? Do you see one with an ED? Because that's a clue at the end.
Old
Called is a verb. Good. And then what does it say that she must immediately do what?
return.
Return is one. And then about the king, there's a linking verb here to weary because weary is going to
All
just, it's was. Good. And then the last one's a little tricky. It's the word must. Must is also a verb. So we're going to mark that right there. Okay, now the subjects, Olivia. So who was weary here? We'll start with the first verb.
the king.
The king. So that's the subject there. What about in the next sentence, this part? Who called his daughter?
The he.
He.
No.
And then what about in the that clause? There's also a subject. Who must immediately return?
He.
She. You know what I just realized? We forgot to mark the adjectives. I skipped it. I put a check there by accident. So Noah, let's go back to the adjectives. Look for words that describe the nouns. Like in the first part of the sentence, this talking about the king. So what word describes the king in that first sentence there?
Very?
Weary. Good. So that's an adjective. And then look at daughter. We talked about this earlier. Whose daughter was it?
No, his?
His. That's an adjective. Look at the noun treasures. What kind of treasures were they?
Stolen.
There you go. So do you see how I did that? For the adjectives, I look at the nouns. And then I look at what's going to tell me more about the noun. Like which one, how many, what kind, that's those kinds of questions. And then for the verbs, that's when we're looking for how are they doing the verb, right? And that tells a little bit more about the verb. Okay, got that. I forgot to write the word that on top of that right here for the that clause. So make sure you do that. And then the capitals, that's pretty easy. You can do that part by yourself. There's just two. And the end mark is a period. So we made it. So when you guys are going through your homework, read this sentence first. You can jump around the list. I know we went in order today, but if you get stuck on something, skip it and come back to it later. Okay, so notice how pretty much everything in here has a label on it. So when you're going through the list, if it has a label, then don't mark it something else. You got to make sure you know which one it is. The only one that has two labels is the subject. It'll be a subject and a noun or a subject and a pronoun. Okay, good job, you guys. Let's get out your binders next. Um, you finished up that story about why opossum has a bare tail. So that should be in your front pocket. So go ahead and get out all the stuff for that. Why opossum has a bare tail. It feels like it's been a long time since we've seen each other. And since you wrote that, that was a long time ago. Okay, all the stuff out of your front pocket there. Get all my stuff out too. This blue page is the only one I want you to keep out. Okay, so don't put away the blue page, but everything else for why opossum has a bare tail can go behind in your finished binder or folder that you have. Okay, because we're finished with it.
The next one.
We're finished with opossum. So go ahead and put away all the other stuff for Why Opossum Has a Bear Tail. And then you're going to get out the next story, which is called The Little Red Hen.
I have it right here.
Oh, good. So you're going to go into behind the source text tab at the beginning of your binder and get out all the papers for The Little Red Hen. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 pages you're going to get out for The Little Red Hen. You already have it out, Noah?
Yeah, I'm looking for the blue page.
Yeah, the blue page should have been in your front pocket with your opossum stuff.
I'm trying to figure out which one's the front side of my book.
Oh yeah, well the front side is the one with the picture, this part. So when you first open it, it should be right here. That's where you should have all your opossum stuff, right here in the front. If you need to go get your mom, you can go get it her real quick to help you. You just need that blue paper from last week, the one about why opossum has a bare tail. And Olivia, did you get yours out already? Okay, good. Did you get out 5 pages for Little Red Hen? And did you find your blue page? Thumbs
Yeah.
up if you have that too. Okay, good. And you need a lined piece of paper. So go ahead and get out one piece of lined paper too.
I like so much slime. That
You
should
got
work.
it? Oh, good. Oh, I thought you were saying I got it. Hi, Valerie. We just need him to find that blue page if he can. It should be with the stuff from before break. I know it's been a while, so it's page 57. Oh, you got it. Yay! Woohoo! Okay.
I've already read on this one.
Yeah, that's okay. We're going to add to it.
Uh,
You should already have on here say, said, and see, saw. Is that what you guys have on there at the top of
a
each
bunch of
one?
red. They're the band ones.
These are the banned words. We're going to add more. Yay! We're going to add more banned words. I should say, wah, wah, wah. All right. So you should have say, said, and seesaw up here. So you should be on the third box. And you're going to have to write kind of small because this one is going to say think, and the one underneath it's going to say thought. Think, let me zoom in so you guys can see that better. Think, thought. Can you see that? I'm going to lighten that a little bit. There, that should be a little better. Think, thought. Okay, so this is now a banned word, both of those, think and thought. Even thinking or anything that has think or thought in it, those are banned, not because they're bad words, but because they're boring, right? We want to come up with better words to say rather than think or thought.
Oh,
So, do you have an idea, Noah?
yeah. No.
Something like dreamed or hoped. Or, and if you think of any, let me know. I'll just start giving you ideas here. Knew with a K, like I knew that. I thought about that and I knew that, right? That's a good one. Decided, imagined. I'm just going to put one more. See which one do I want to do? Remembered, These are big words, so you have to kind of write small. Remembered. So when you're writing a story, rather than saying think or thought, you need to pick one of these words, but there's more than this. So if you don't like any of these when you're writing, you can get out a thesaurus and look up the word thought, and then you'll see a whole bunch of words that are what you can use instead of thought. Or if you check with your parents and they're okay with you Googling it, you can get on the computer and put in Google, what's another word for thought? But you got to ask your parents first before you get on the computer, okay? But there's going to be a big list of options for you. Another idea is you could print those lists, like even with said and saw and thought. You can go to the computer and ask your parents if it's okay to print a list, and then you can put it up by your wall or on your wall near where you do your writing homework, and that'll help too. So, okay, one more band at the end here. We're gonna do go and went. Go, went. See, this is getting a little harder for writing, huh? Because you have words that you can't use now. You have to think of something different. So instead of go and went, what could we say? Do you have any ideas, Olivia? Like if I went to the store, what's another way to say went?
Left?
Yeah, you could say left. I left to go to the store, or I left for the store, or even drove or walked. Or even rushed, like if you're in a hurry and you rushed to the store or you rushed to the doctor, maybe you needed help with something and you had to rush to the doctor or rush to school. Sometimes we're running late. Rushed,
Zoomed?
zoomed. I like it. Or dashed if you're in a hurry, dashed. I always think of Dash on Incredibles. Remember Dash? He was fast. My favorite part of the movie, one of my favorite parts I love that movie. That probably is my favorite Disney movie is The Incredibles. But you know, when he's like at the end of the first one and he's wanting to try out for sports, dashes, and he wants to try out for track, you know, the running sport. And his parents are like in the bleachers saying, slow down, because he's too fast. Because he's gonna win every single time. He's just that fast. He has that superpower. So I love that part. They're like, or I think they say slow up instead of hurry up. It's like slow up. It's like calm down, slow down. Anyway, it's a good one. All right, you got it, Noah? Almost?
Decided.
Oh, you're undecided? Okay, so what I'm going to do is have you stop, and at the end of class, your mom can get a picture, okay? And then you can write these down later because we got to keep going. All right, now you need your lined piece of paper. So go ahead and get out your lined piece of paper.
Like 17 pieces of line paper.
You have 17?
Like out right now.
That's good. Well, you only need one, so that's good. You got 17, you got plenty. There we go. Let me zoom out. Okay, first step, as always, your name goes here. Today's date is what is today? 16? It is. 25, that's a new one. Normally we put 24, but it's 2025 now. It's kind of cool. Skip a line, and the story this week is called The Little, and you're going to use capitals, Red hen. Each word has a capital in this one. The little red hen. And then we're going to put right underneath that SSC. I know I'm going to go a little bit fast here, Noah, but don't worry because at the end we'll take a picture and then you can fix it later, okay? Do you guys remember what SSC stands for? SSC? We did it for King Midas and we did it for Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. The first S is for story.
Hmm.
Story sequence chart.
Yes, yes. Is that what you were going to say, Olivia? You guys had it. You were so close. Story sequence chart. That's right. Very good. So that means we're going to build boxes, right? And each chart or the chart is going to have like 6 boxes. And then we're going to talk about the parts of the story. So skip a line and then kind of in the middle, a little bit toward the red side, the red line. Remember how we draw a line down? It doesn't have to be perfect. So just do your best to try to make it straight. Mine's not perfect, but try to go straight down if you can, like that. And then we're going to start building your keyword outline on the right side of that line. So we're going to start with Roman numeral 1 here. And then 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to do 4 because this one, we need a little bit more space in this one. So go ahead and write 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Skip a line under 4, and you're going to do Roman numeral 2, and the same thing, 1 through 4.
Are we doing 4 paragraphs?
No, just 3, but these are sentences, so you're going to have actually 5 sentences for each paragraph. I'm going to finish this up. I'll wait for you guys, but you're going to do Roman numeral 2 and Roman numeral 3. So once you have all that written down, give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to keep going, Noah, but you just keep writing, okay? It's okay. Right on top of the Roman numeral. That's where you trace that line. Remember how we made these boxes, Olivia? So go all the way to the edge of your paper. Start on the red line and go all the way to the edge. And then right on top of Roman numeral 2, same thing. You're just going to draw a line. On top of Roman numeral 3, draw a line. And then wherever your bottom line ends, however far down it goes, just draw a line at across the bottom of that line. So now we have our 6 boxes here. So the main thing I want you to focus on right now, Noah, is the numbers, okay? And then you can draw those lines across. But I'm going to keep going with Olivia, but you can write the rest of this stuff down later, okay? Your mom can get a picture of it. So just make sure you get the numbers. That's really important for you to have on there. So Olivia, do you remember what we put in the first box? What do we usually talk about at the beginning of a story? We did this for King Midas and Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. Do you remember what we talked about first?
The characters.
Yes, characters. Do you remember what that other word was?
Throw it away. The settings.
Yes, good. That means where the story is taking place, right? So characters and setting. Noah, do you have all the numbers down? You have all those numbers written down on yours?
Should I just write the numbers like anywhere on the line?
No, they need to be in order like this, okay? It needs to look exactly like my page right here. So you should have a Roman numeral 1, and then under that should be 1, 2, 3, 4. You see how I have that? And then under that should be Roman numeral 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Roman numeral 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure not just anywhere on the page, it needs to be just like mine, okay? Okay, so you're right, Olivia. Good with that. I want you to put who and where. In this paragraph, you're mostly going to talk about who's in the story and where they are. That's how we start these types of stories. They're called narrative stories. And a narrative story is more like made up stuff. Like you're going to see this hen and other animals talk to each other. And we know in real life, they make sounds, but they don't necessarily talk English to each other, right? They can't use words. So these characters do in the story. So we'll know that this is a made up story. It's called a fiction story. And that's what you're going to write. So in this, your first paragraph, you're going to introduce the characters and tell where they are. The next one is conflict slash problem. And that's where we ask the question, what? What is the problem? What does the character need? What does the character want? What is the character saying? What is the character thinking? So in the middle, just like remember how we talked about Kung Fu Panda and he has this epic battle with the bad guy? Every story has a conflict or a problem in the middle. Just like King Midas. Remember, he wished for everything he touched to turn to gold. It was great for a little while, but then it got out of hand, right? His food turned to gold, and then his daughter, that was the worst. So he had a problem. He wanted to get rid of this golden touch, and he didn't know how, right? So that had a problem. And then Opossum, don't forget about that guy. Remember, he burnt his tail. That was a problem, right? His tail was on fire. Definitely a problem. So in this story, we're going to read about the little red hen, and the little red hen has a problem too, but we'll find out what it is. And then the end down here is going to be climax and resolution. And that's how I'm going to put how here. That's how the problem gets solved. This is how the problem gets solved. So most of the stories we read have a happy ending. Remember way back in the beginning, we read The Dog in the Shadow? That one didn't have such a happy ending because he lost his bone forever. Kind of a sad ending, right? So we'll find out how this one ends. But once you have that written down, and don't worry, Noah, you can write this part later if you haven't written that yet. I want you to go ahead and find the story now. This is page 65. And I'm going to read the story unless do you want to read a paragraph, Olivia? Do you like to read? Or Noah, does anybody want to read a paragraph? It's up to you if you want to. Okay, good. So this is called The Little Red Hen. It says right here, abridged from an 1818 telling by Florence White Williams. So Florence White Williams is the one that came up with the story. But notice it says telling. That means she told the story. So then somebody actually wrote it down for her. But notice 1818, that's like 200 years ago. This is an old, old, old story. And so some of the words are going to be weird, right? I'll explain that when we come across some different words that we don't know. But go ahead, Olivia, when you're ready, go ahead and just read that first paragraph for me.
A little red hen lived
It's okay.
in a in a barnyard.
Yes.
She spent almost all of her time walking about the barnyard in her pi- kitty
Good.
petty
Yes.
fashion, scratching
Scratching everywhere.
everywhere for worms. As often as she found a worm, she would call chuck, chuck, chuck
Good.
her chickies. When they were gathered about her, she would disturb, dis, distribute
Good. Distribute. Distribute. I'll tell you what that means in a second. Go ahead and finish the sentence.
choice moral morsels
There you go.
of her tidbit.
Good.
A little busy body was she.
Nice reading, Olivia. Okay, so distribute. Let's talk about that one. Have you ever played cards with your family before? And you have to pass out the cards, right? Everybody gets a card. They might get two cards, depending on what game you're playing, like Uno or something like that. So distribute means like passing out cards, or in this case, the hen is passing out food to her chickies. So she's giving one to that chickie, one to that chickie, one to that chickie. And then it says choice morsels of her tidbit. Those are words we don't use very often anymore. They're old-fashioned words, but it just means morsels is the food, choice morsels. So it's whatever food the worm, that's she called that a morsel because that's what they love to eat. And then tidbit is like a tiny, tiny piece. So she probably, it's gross, but she probably took the worm and broke it up into little tiny pieces and gave one to that chickie and one to that chickie and one to that chickie. So they all had breakfast. Okay, that's what that means. Noah, do you want to read the next paragraph? It starts with a cat. So far we have a hen, and she's in the barnyard. And now we're going to learn about the cat. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Right here where it says a cat usually napped. Do you see that on yours?
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Yeah. A cat usually naps lazily in the barn door, not even bothering herself to scare the rat, who ran here and there as he pleased. And for the pig who lived in the sty,
Uh-huh, good.
he did not care what happened so long as he could eat and sleep.
Okay, stop there. Good job reading. And by the way, it sounds weird where it says the cat napped in the barn door. That just means in the doorway. He was probably on the ground, but in the doorway of the barnyard, which is like a farm, or the barn. I'm sorry, the barn door. And then later, when it talks about the pig, you see that word sty. And a sty is like where the pig lives in a pen, and it's called a sty. That's kind of an old-fashioned term. So we got a cat, and the cat is lazy sleeping. And then we have a pig who's also lazy, and the pig wants to do is eat and sleep. Sounds about right. Okay, I'm going to keep going because we have a lot left. So I'm going to read from here, okay? So one day the little red hen found a seed. Carrying it about, she made many inquiries, that means she questioned, as to what it might be. She found it was a wheat seed, and that if planted, it would grow up, and when ripe, it could be made into flour, and then into bread. She called loudly, "Who will help me plant the seed?" But the pig said, "Not I," and the cat said, "Not I," and the rat said, "Not I." "Well, then," said the little red hen, "I will." And she did. Then she went on with her daily duties through the long summer days. One day, the little red hen chanced to notice, so that just means she happened to notice, how large the wheat was and that the grain was ripe. So she ran about calling briskly, "Who will help me cut the wheat?" And the pig said, "Not I." The cat said, "Not I." and the rat said, "Not I." "Well, then," said the little red hen, "I will." And she did. She got the sickle. By the way, a sickle is like a big curved knife, and that's how you cut down the wheat with your hands, with the knife in your hands. Of course, this is made up because obviously a chicken can't hold on to a sickle. They don't have hands like we do. Um, she got the sickle out of the barn and proceeded to cut off all of the wheat. She called out, "Who will thresh the wheat?" So thresh means when you have a wheat plant, there's a bunch of parts of the plant that you don't need, but you open up the little shell to get the seed, and that's what you use to make the flour. So it's basically separating out what you need to make the flour and then throwing away the rest of the plant because you don't need the whole thing. You don't need the stem. It's got some leaves on it. You don't need all that. You just need the seed. So threshing means to take it apart. Okay, let's go to the back. But the pig with a grunt said, "Not I." And the cat with a meow said, "Not I." And the cat with a squeak said, "Not I." So the little red hen, rather discouraged, said, "Well, I will do it then." And she did. "Who will carry the wheat to the mill to be ground?" This is when it gets ground into flour, a powder. Turning their backs with snippy glee, the pig and the cat and the rat said, "Not I." So now they're getting rude, right? So the good little red hen could do nothing but say, "I will then." And she did. Mrs. Hen retired to her slumbers earlier than usual. That just means she went to bed. She would have liked to sleep late in the morning, but as she opened one eye, she thought that today the flour must be made into bread. So after her chores, she hunted up the pig, the cat, and the rat, still confident that they would surely help her. She sang out, "Who will help me make the bread?" The pig said, "Not I." The cat said, "Not I." And the rat said, "Not I." So the little red hen said once more, "I will then." And she did. She set the dough, kneaded the bread, divided it into loaves, and put them in the oven to bake. While the cat sat lazily by, the vain rat powdered his nose. Okay, I'm going to pause there for a second because we don't really do this anymore. But back in the olden days, in the 1800s, even the guys and the girls, they didn't want their nose to be shiny because sometimes, your nose gets a little oily, like especially if it's hot outside. So they would take a little bit of powder, like baby powder, and put it on a cotton ball and powder their nose because they didn't want to look sweaty. They wanted to look nice and fancy. And that's this rat. He's powdering his nose because he wants to look fancy. And he admired himself in the mirror. So he's all about himself, the rat. And in the distance, could be heard the snoring of the dozing pig. At last, a delicious odor was wafted upon the autumn breeze. That means she was baking the bread, and I don't know if you've ever your somebody in your house bakes cookies, and then all of a sudden you smell those cookies and they smell so good, and you just want one so bad. That's what that means. It came in the air. They smelled it. And then the red hen called out, or called, "Who will eat the bread?" All the animals in the barnyard were watching hungrily and smacking their lips in anticipation. And the pig said, "I will." And the cat said, "I will." And the rat said, "I will." But the little red hen said, "No, you won't. I will." And she and her chicks ate the bread. The end. After all that, she's like, "Nope, you didn't help me at all, so you don't get any bread." Neener, neener. All right, I'm going to do this kind of quick because we are really low on time here. So the first box is about the characters, and the first one we hear about is the little red hen. And I'm going to put LRH for little red hen. And then I'm going to circle up here in my title, LRH. That's so that we don't have to count that as one of our words. Okay? And the little red hen, she is she's happy in the beginning, right? I'm going to use that word joyful. And she is busy with her chickies, right? You're going to have to squeeze these words in pretty small because we don't have a lot of space on here. And don't worry, Noah, I'm going to go fast, but I'm going to let your mom take a picture so you can write it down later, okay? But try to get down as much as you can here. They're in a barn, right? They're in a farmyard. That's where they are. But before I tell where they are, I'm going to talk about the other characters too. There's the cat, and the cat is lazy in the beginning. And the cat was napping. I'm going to put lazy and napping for the cat. And then we have the pig. And the pig, all the pig wants to do in the beginning is eat and sleep. Remember that? The pig is so lazy too. He just wants to eat and sleep. And then we've got the last character. So we have the cat, the pig. Who are we missing? Do you guys know who we're missing? Oh, we have the hen, the cat, and the pig. There's one more animal.
Rat.
Okay, good. Is that what you're gonna say, Olivia? The rat. And the rat, remember in the beginning, the rat didn't care about anything. He just wanted to wander around. He was carefree. Have you ever heard that word carefree before? It's a compound word. It has care and free, and together it's carefree. And that just means he didn't care. He was free of care. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted to do whatever he wanted. Okay, so we'll call him proud and carefree. And these characters are on a farm. We talked about that. They were on a farm. And then what did the hen find as she's pecking around? What did she find, Olivia? Do you remember?
Seed.
A seed. What kind of seed was it?
Wheat seed.
A wheat seed. So I'm going to put that here too. Okay, so now we have the characters and setting. I know I'm going fast. I'm sorry. I want to make sure to have you have this ready because I'm going to have you write all 3 paragraphs this week. So that's why we're going a little faster right now. I am recording this though, so if you guys need to go back and watch it again, you can. Okay, and this question, I know you're writing, Noah, so don't worry if you don't get it all, but what does the hen want to do with the seed, Noah? What does she want to do? Like eventually she wants to make something. What does she want to make? Bread, right? So I'm going to put LRH for Little Red Hen. She wants to make bread with the wheat. So I'm going to put grow wheat, and I'm going to do an arrow and put bread. That's what she wants to do is make bread. And then Olivia, what does she start asking? She found the seed. What is her first question to everybody there at the farm?
Who will help me plant the seed?
Yes, so I'm going to put help and plant, and I'm going to put a question mark here. I'm also going to put quotation marks around it because that's what she says. Who will help me plant the seed? And they all said, not I, right? They didn't want to. So instead of writing out cat, pig, and rat, I'm going to use the first letter for C for cat, P for pig, and R for rat. I'm circling them here to remind me, and I'm going to put C, P, R, and the word no, like that. Because those letters are going to represent cat, pig, and rat. That way we don't have to waste our words on those. We can just use abbreviation for those. So the CPR said no. And then the wheat grows. The wheat grows, and then she asked, "Who will help me cut?" Question mark. CPR say no again, not I. So go ahead and keep writing. I know I'm going fast here, but instead of just saying no each time, you can change that up and say like, "No way, Jose." They could say that, or they could say nope, or they could say uh-uh. You can have them respond different ways so it's not the same every time they respond, so it's not repetitive in your story. So try to think of other ways to say no. And then she asks if they can help her thresh after it grows. She cuts it down. Threshing is taking it apart, right? So I'm going to put thresh with a question mark. And then again, they said no. And then she asked if they can help her carry. And they all said no again. I know I have a little extra words here, but that's okay. I've got thresh, question mark, no, carry, no. Help bake, no. I'm gonna have to go a little bit longer. Hopefully you guys don't have to leave yet. Can you stay on just like 3 more minutes? Okay. Then she decides to knead the dough. I'm going to keep going here. She mixes it. By the way, this is her problem right here. Remember, this is the conflict and the problem. Everybody's not helping her. Nobody's helping her. That's her problem. She mixes it. She kneaded it. I'm going to put ed here. Kneaded the dough.
Not a sad or happy ending. It's a funny ending.
It's a funny ending, exactly. And the cat was being lazy again. Lazing around is what it said.
Can I just use chicks instead of chickies? Because I can't fit it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Right here, the cat was lazing around, the pig was snoring, and the rat was looking in the mirror. Remember, the rat was all stuck on himself, right? He wanted to look good. That's all he cared about, is making sure his nose was powdered. And then they smelled the bread. I'm gonna put a happy face there. And then she says, I'm going to keep going. I know I'm going fast here. Help eat. And then C, P, and R said, I will. This is the best part. What does the hen say when they all say, I'll help you eat it? What does the hen say?
No,
She says, no. And then she says, I will.
you're like, what the heck?
And she shared with her chickies. Okay, sorry guys. I know that was quick. Let me zoom in so you can see this a little bit better here. And then go ahead and finish writing all that down. And while you're writing, the one page we didn't get to talk about yet was the pink page. So after class, you can look at that. It's a really nice list of ly adverbs, and you can use that for your dress ups. When you go to write these paragraphs, use that list to help you.
There are so many ly adverbs like right in front of my face. I see like
Yay, that's good though. Okay, so Noah, go ahead and get your mom so she can take a picture of this. Actually, wait, don't go get her. Oh, she's right there. Oh, good. Okay, we had to go super fast. So I feel bad about that, but we totally ran out of time. So let me get that centered. There we go. We got to do a little bit of catching up. So I had to get through this one a little faster. And then there's one other thing. I'll have you take this one too. So Olivia, hang on just a second. I'm gonna have her take a picture of this. Oops. I don't think he got all that down either.
the words are so long.
Can you see it okay? Okay. Go back to this one for Olivia.
Can I get the other one more time?
Yeah, let me lighten it for you. Let me see if that'll, oops. There, maybe that's better.
Yeah, can I see the other one more time? I
Oh,
think
that other one, yeah.
good.
Oh, hold on. Let me darken it. Weird. There we go.
Okay, I think that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, Noah, so you're gonna finish later writing all that in, and then you're gonna write, we're gonna do 3 paragraphs this week. So let me know how that goes, Valerie, on your end and Olivia's mom too. Because we're gonna try to pick up the pace a little bit here so we can get a little further in the binder, but I don't want it to be like a stress. So, um, but I do want to see if they can write all 3 paragraphs this week. Okay.
They're typing like this.
Typing. Yeah. Do you like to type, Noah?
Yeah. So that,
Kinda? Better than writing with your hand?
yeah.
Hey, brother.
Are you learning how to type with all your fingers too?
No, I'm just doing like this.
The first finger? That's okay. Eventually you can learn how to use all your fingers. It'll go even faster.
And I'll just type like 5 paragraphs in like 3 minutes.
Yes, that's right. That's the goal. All right, Noah, you're free to go. I'll see you next week, okay?
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week. You can stay on, Olivia, if you're still writing.
I'm already done.
You're done? Okay, good. I'll see you next week then. Bye, Olivia.